All right, let's get right into it. GitHub just dropped something that's, well, it's a pretty big deal for how developers are going to use AI from now on. We're talking about bringing the heavy hitters, Anthropic's Claude and OpenAI's Codex, right into your GitHub workflow. This whole new thing is called Agent HQ.
So, let me just ask you this. Are you tired of that constant juggling? You know what I mean. You've got your code open, you're in the zone, but then to get some real help from an AI, you have to pop open a whole separate chat window, copy your code, paste it in, and then try to explain all the context it's missing.
And that whole dance, it isn't just annoying, it is an absolute productivity killer. Every single time you switch between your code and that AI chat, you're bleeding crucial context. And that leads to wasted time, frustration, and, let's be real, it often leads to the AI giving you a completely wrong answer. It's a huge drain.
Yeah, let's just call it what it is. The context switching headache. It is the #1 pain point for any developer who wants to use these incredibly powerful AI models for something more complex than just, finishing a line of code.
I mean, think about how we used to do this. To get help from a model like Claude, you literally had to leave GitHub entirely. And when you did that, you left behind all that rich project history, all the pull requests, the issue threads, the back and forth on review comments. The AI was basically flying blind.
So what did GitHub do about it? Well, they built the solution right inside their own house. They built it right where the problem actually exists. So let's meet Agent HQ.
Okay, so what is this thing exactly? You can think of Agent HQ as a central command center, a single control plane that lives right inside GitHub. It's built to let you run and manage these coding agents from a bunch of different companies, all from one place.
This is the key. Instead of you having to take your code to the AI, Agent HQ brings the AI to your code. Now, models like Claude and Codex can operate right there inside your repository, and they have full access to the issues, the PRs, all of it. That precious context is never lost.
Now, that all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work when you're, writing code? Let's break down the actual mechanics of putting one of these agents to work.
Honestly, the whole process is incredibly straightforward. It's basically 3 steps. 1, you define the task. Usually this is as simple as pointing it to an issue or a pull request. 2, you pick your agent, Copilot, Claude, whichever you want. And 3, you just let it run. The agent gets to work completely on its own, writing the code, and even opening up a draft PR for you when it's done. And this isn't some black box where you just cross your fingers and hope for the best. No, you can watch the agent's progress in real time, see what it's thinking, or go back and review the logs from a completed session. It's all transparent, and it's all right there, either in the issue itself or in this new Central Agents tab.
So, where can you actually kick these things off? How does this deep integration actually feel inside the day-to-day GitHub experience? You might be surprised at just how many places you can start an agent session.
You can start from that main Agents tab we talked about, or even from the GitHub mobile app. But my favorite way, you can just assign an issue to Claude, just like you'd assign it to a human teammate. Or you can even just tag an agent in a PR comment like, @Claude, can you please refactor this messy function? And it'll get right on it. And of course, it's all wired up inside VS Code too. And look, it's not just GitHub hyping this up. Here's a quote directly from Anthropic, the folks who made Claude. They're pointing out that their agent can fully participate in your development cycle, committing code, commenting, the whole deal. The goal is to help your team ship faster and, just as importantly, with more confidence.
Okay, but as you'd expect, this kind of power isn't exactly free. And since this is still in public preview, there are definitely a few things you need to keep in mind. So let's talk about the cost and some of the current limitations. So, to get access to these third-party agents, you're going to need a Copilot Pro plan or higher. The Pro plan gets you 300 of what they're calling premium requests per month. If you jump up to Pro Plus, that number goes way up to 1,500. And for big companies, the enterprise plans are, of course, totally configurable.
So what is a premium request? Well, the model is actually super simple. It's just 1. Every single time you run an agent session, no matter if it's a huge task or a small one, it costs you exactly 1 of your monthly premium requests. It's really predictable, which is nice.
Now for the caveats. First and foremost, remember, this is a public preview. Things will probably change and evolve. Second, if you use this a lot, you could burn through that monthly quota pretty fast. Also, while the VS Code integration is there, support for the Copilot CLI is still on the coming soon list. And you'll need a pretty recent version of VS Code to make it all work.
So, after all that, what's the bottom line here? Who is this really for, and what's the real game changer? Let's wrap this up with the final verdict.
Okay, look, Agent HQ is probably not for every little thing you do. Its sweet spot is for those well-defined, pretty complex tasks that would otherwise eat up a ton of your time. Think, implement this new authentication flow based on the spec in this issue, not help me write a for loop. For that quick, exploratory stuff, your standard Copilot completions are still the way to go.
When you boil it all down, the real win, the absolute victory here, is finally solving that context-switching headache we started with. By weaving these powerful agents directly into the native GitHub flow of issues and pull requests, GitHub has turned AI into a true collaborator, not just some separate tool you have to go consult.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. When you can assign tasks to an AI, have it submit code for review, and iterate based on your feedback, you really have to ask, could an AI agent be your next pair programmer? The line is definitely starting to get blurry.